Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this special meeting of the NMU Board of Trustees to order. And I would ask Secretary Andrew to, at this time, please take the roll.
Trustee Young,
Here.
Trustee Holmquist, Trustee Brown,
Here.
Trustee Fatante,
Here.
Trustee Sepinen,
Here.
Trustee LaPointe Dunham, Trustee Lindberg,
Here.
Trustee Toutant.
Here.
We have a quorum with 6 trustees present.
Thank you, Secretary Andrew. I'd like to, at this time, actually welcome our newest member of the board. We have 2 new members of the board, but our newest member of the board, and that's Trustee Venus Joy Brown. She is actually taking part in her first official meeting of the board today, and want to take this time to welcome you and let you know that we're all very excited to have you on this board. And we are very much looking forward to working with you. And we know we've got a series of meetings scheduled next week for you on orientation. We're going to be able to spend a fair amount of time with you up there when we're up for a retreat next week. So Venus, gosh, it's a pleasure to have you here. And hopefully you find this as much fun, I think, as I have, and I know others on the board, and they'll share that with you when we get a chance to chat. We'd also like to welcome our other newest member of the board, which is not really a new member of the board, but that's Trustee Lisa Fatante, who's been on the board for 8 years, was reappointed to the board late last year, and is serving another 8 years with us. And I don't think we could have asked for a better Christmas present, Lisa, than having you continuing to join us and serve on this board. It's been a pleasure serving with you. And I just so excited to have both of you on the board as new members. And I say that with quotes with Lisa, since she's already served 8 years. But great news, and we're off to a great start, I think, in 2025 with those appointments.
Thank you.
We
Chair
only
Young,
have 2 items. Oops.
just before you start, I see that Vice Chair Holmquist is now joining the meeting. So officially, I'd like to point out that she's here and that we have 7 trustees present.
Excellent. Welcome, Vice Chair Holmquist. We have 2 agenda items on the today. The first is the amended 2025 Board of Trustees meeting schedule. We had done the schedule, but we had some extra dates in there we hadn't finalized yet. This finalized agenda will be published after this meeting and after it's approved by the board. But it basically indicates that our February 13th to 14th meeting is a retreat only. There will be no public meeting at that. Our July meetings will be held on July 10th and 11th. And our September meetings will be held on September 18th and 19th. And with that, I would call for a motion to approve the revised meeting schedule.
I move that the proposed changes to the Board of Trustees meetings for calendar year 2025 be approved.
Is there a second?
Support.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on the amended 2025 meeting schedule? If there's no discussion, then I would ask Secretary Andrew to please call the roll on the motion.
Please indicate with yes or no. Trustee Young,
Yes.
Trustee Holmquist, Trustee
Yes.
Brown, Trustee Fatante,
Yes.
Trustee Sepinen,
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
Trustee Toutant.
Yes.
Motion carries with 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you, Secretary Andrew. Our next agenda item are committee appointments for calendar year 2025. And as chair of the board, it's my responsibility to make appointments to these committees. We have 3 standing committees at this point in time: Academic Affairs, Finance, and Policy Review Committee. We also have a 4th committee, which is used really as needed, and that's our Executive Committee. So with that, I would like to make the following appointments to the committees as stated. Academic Affairs, I'd like to appoint trustee Lindberg as chair, trustee Venus Brown as a member, Bridget Lapointe Dunham, Greg Sepinen, and Greg Toutant as members of the Academic Affairs Committee. Also, I will serve as ex officio, as will our president, Brock Tessman. On finance, we'd like to appoint trustee Holmquist as chair, joined by Lisa Fatante, Bridget Lapointe Dunham, Greg Sepinen, and again, myself and President Tessman as ex officio members. On the Policy Review Committee, I'd like to appoint Greg, trustee Toutant as chair, Venus Brown, trustee Brown, trustee Fatante, trustee Lindberg, and joined again by me and President Tessman as ex officio members. The Executive Committee, which is really comprised of the chairs of our standing committees and the president. The Executive Committee would be comprised of myself as chair, trustee Holmquist, trustee Lindberg, trustee Toutant, and President Tessman as ex officio member of the Executive Committee. So with that, I would ask for a motion and a second to approve those appointments to the standing committees.
Chair Young, I move that the NMU Board of Trustees approve the recommended appointments to the board standing committees for the calendar year 2025.
Thank you, trustee Toutant. Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you, trustee Lindberg. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I would just, if I could, indulge the committee or the board for a second. I want to thank everybody that's agreed to serve on these committees. Our committees are very active throughout the year, and that's a really good thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And so serving on these committees is a commitment of time and resources. So I very much appreciate all of you that have agreed to serve on these committees. I've had a chance to talk to many of you as we were putting these committees together, particularly the chairs, which is another level of activity. So I appreciate very much everybody's willingness to serve on the committees, because we had a very active year in 2024, and I don't see that changing in 2025 in terms of committee activity. So it's very much appreciated, your willingness to serve. So with that, if there's no further discussion on the committee assignments, I would ask Secretary Andrew to please call the roll on the motion, please.
Please indicate with yes or no. Trustee Young,
Yes.
trustee Holmquist,
Yes.
trustee Brown,
Yes.
trustee Fatante,
Yes.
trustee Sepinen,
yes,
trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
trustee Toutant.
Yes,
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, everybody. And also just, this does not require a vote, but we also have 2 liaison positions that represent the board at the foundation meetings. And I would like to ask that we have trustee Fatante and trustee Toutant serve as our liaison to the NMU Foundation Board for calendar year 2025. Again, that does not require a vote. Those are just appointments that are made public. So I think that's right, Carrie. We don't need a vote on that's just, okay. Okay. So with that, in Venus, our meetings aren't always this short. Trust me, they're generally much longer than this, but this happens to be a short one today. So I appreciate everybody's willingness to be here. And since we are meeting, next week, so anyways, there's no further business to come before the board, and I adjourn this meeting. Thank you.